Welcome to the Marketing Lab, your go-to podcast for all marketing information. I'm your host, Tyler, and we'll cover different tips, tricks, and strategies to help level up your marketing, examine real-world case studies, and dissect all the marketing implications and how you can best use this information. And lastly, we'll bring in industry professionals to share their knowledge along with entrepreneurs and discuss their marketing journeys in business. Now let's grab our lab coats and jump in. So today's going to be our first episode on case studies, and what we're going to do is just find different marketing topics that we saw online or we saw on a TV commercial. And this is actually one that I did see on a Super Bowl commercial, and maybe you saw it too. This is actually one I might be a little bit biased because Tom Brady is one of my favorite players of all time. And you might be saying that, oh, I'm a bandwagoner, but I digress. So we're going to be talking about Tom Brady and this Hulu commercial. And honestly, this is one of my favorite marketing plays that I've ever really seen. And just the detail and thinking of everything that goes into it. So we'll dive into a little bit of, I guess, who Tom Brady is. I don't really know if you know who Tom Brady is. I'm assuming you do, but he is one of the greatest football players of all time, arguably the best. And he had a lot of big decisions coming up, and that we'll get into a little bit later. And then Hulu is a streaming platform that is an American streaming platform that offers live sports, shows, and movies. So what they ended up doing was teaming up, and a little bit of the backstory. Brady was getting late into his career. There was rumors around his contract expiring. People were saying, oh, he's going to get traded. Oh, he's going to leave New England. And there was a lot of talks in the back saying, oh, he only won all these games because of the Coach Belichick, because Coach Belichick is one of the greatest of all times as well. And he took a big pay cut during his playing career with New England so they could spread out the money, and they would be able to give him a better supporting cast around him. So what ended up happening, there was a lot of talks, and maybe it wasn't the best culture in New England, but what ended up happening was Brady kind of wanted to get away from there and go out on his own, enjoy it a little bit, and see if he could win without having Coach Belichick there to silence all the rumors and everything. So everyone was talking about this, where everyone was saying, oh, Brady's going to leave. Oh, Brady's going to stay. Is he going to retire? And there was so much talk around this, and no one really knew exactly what was going on. And everyone in the media was talking about this, and Hulu thought it would be a great idea. And in my opinion, it was a really good idea to jump on this, use this as leverage, as this talking point, because everyone in the media is currently talking about it. So what Hulu ended up doing was they partnered with them. I just don't want to make sure that I skipped anything here with Brady. So everyone was just basically going around speculating, and they weren't really sure what Brady was going to do. So Hulu ended up partnering with them. No one knew about this, though. So what ended up happening on social media, Tom Brady ended up posting a picture, and the picture was really dark. It was in the tunnel of the stadium. I believe it was Gillette Stadium where he always played, and you couldn't really tell which direction he was walking in. Was he walking into the stadium? Was he walking out of the stadium? And this led to more talk in the media, where people were saying, oh, he's walking into the stadium. Oh, he's walking out of the stadium. Everyone on Twitter was talking about it, and it just created even more talking points around Tom Brady, and everyone's like, oh, is he going to stay? Oh, is he going to go? And no one really knew exactly what his decision was going to be. But what ended up happening, this was part of Hulu and Tom Brady's little marketing plan to post this picture, and everyone thought it might have just been Tom Brady. No one realized that there was this partnership going around yet. So he ended up posting this picture, and I'll link to everything in the description below if you do want to check out any of the pictures, any of the videos, because I will also link the commercial there as well, so you can view the commercial if you haven't seen it already, or if you do want to look back and just see about the marketing that did really go on with this partnership with Tom Brady and Hulu. So basically the goal was build up a lot of hype around Tom Brady and the commercial, and that picture was the first thing that ended up happening. And then during the Super Bowl, so just want to make sure that we're not skipping anything. It all started with Brady posting a picture Everyone starts speculating. And then what happens is during the Super Bowl, so you got your whole target audience there. You got football fans. You got your perfect celebrity to market this, because everyone loves football. Everyone's there watching the Super Bowl. Maybe not everyone. Everyone, quote unquote, says, "Oh, I'm only here for the halftime show." But everyone that's watching the Super Bowl, they're interested in football. So you got the perfect combination with Tom Brady. I guess he's a love-hate relationship. A lot of people hate him because he was so good, and then a lot of people love him because he was so good. So there's a little bit of a love-hate relationship there. So you got this perfect person teaming up with Hulu, and what ends up happening on the Super Bowl commercial, it starts out really emotional. Tom's just talking, some B-roll clips of him walking around the stadium, and it just starts out where it seems like he's about to announce his retirement or where he's going to go. And he talks a little bit about, all right, I want to talk to my family, my friends, my teammates. I want you guys to be the first to know. And then everyone starts to get a little emotional. It brings everyone in, and it grabs everyone's attention because it's Tom Brady, and everyone has this whole decision. Everyone's talking about this decision that's coming up, and what is he going to do? And when I first heard this, basically what ended up happening, I jumped out of my seat and I got all excited. I'm like, no way, he's announcing it. What's he going to do? Is he going to stay? Is he going to retire? Is he going to transfer to a different team or get traded? So it got me really excited, and I didn't know exactly what was going to happen. So he goes, I think it's about the first half of this video is him all emotional, trying to bring you in, draw that connection. And then halfway through the video, it just goes to him after it's sucked everyone in, and he has your attention. And then it goes, I'd like to announce that Hulu is now streaming live sports, movies, and shows. And then it's funny because at the same time, when you see the commercial compared to the picture that Tom Brady ended up posting on his profile, you can see that it was the same aesthetic. It was like black and white, dark. So you can see when you put the pieces together that the picture and the commercial, they were both together. So he brought you in, and then he drew the attention with this soft voiceover of him talking, and it just really drew you in. And it was the perfect collaboration. It was the perfect timing where Tom Brady's going to be retiring, going to be changing teams, and no one really knew what he was going to be doing. Everyone in the media was talking about it, and then all of a sudden he just brings you in saying, okay, everyone thinks he's going to announce it, but it just ends up being this Hulu commercial, which is honestly one of my favorite things. I might be a little biased just because of Tom Brady being one of my favorite players of all time. So it just really stood out to me that how good of this partnership, this timing, and all the strategic effort that went into it behind the scenes. And we're going to post this picture, and it seems like nothing, but the picture ended up creating like a huge talking point. And then what ended up happening after this Super Bowl commercial is everyone in the media started talking about it again. It's like, oh, it was just a Hulu commercial. Tom Brady wasn't actually retired. Then they go back and talk about the picture. It's like, oh, he wasn't actually leaving, or he wasn't actually going anywhere. It was just this commercial and whole play that Hulu decided to put together with Tom Brady. So in my opinion, it was just such great timing and such a great collaboration. And it just worked really well and paired really well. So a few of the key takeaways that you can take from this that you can implement in either your business, your marketing, or just stuff moving forward is using current events and talking points that the media are currently using as your marketing. So with this, obviously, Tom Brady had a really big decision coming up. No one really knew exactly what he was going to do, if he was going to stay, if he was going to go. So it's just taking other talking points in the media. Say you're in sports. If there's something big going on, like currently at this time of the recording, there's DeAndre Hopkins, there's Dalvin Cook. They're both free agents. They're both really good players. Maybe there could be a partnership somewhere in there. Or this just happened, I think, a month or so ago. The submarine that got lost that was looking for the Titanic or whatever it was doing, I didn't pay too much attention to it. Maybe you could have some, obviously that's a rather morbid topic, but maybe there's some way that you could tie that in with your marketing, or it's just using these current events, because everything on the media was all talking about this submarine that got lost, that there was, I think it was billionaires in there. So all of a sudden these billionaires are gone, but that's a talking point in the media. So maybe it's just finding different points in the media that you can use in your marketing efforts, because everyone's currently talking about it, and then people are going to be more willing to actually pay attention and want to see what's going on, and it might drive a little bit more attention. So depending on the size of your business, this next one might not apply to you, but if you are a bigger scale business, or maybe you can just find someone locally, but partnering with big names or people in your community, town, city, country, whatever it is, in that specific scenario, you want someone that has a big decision coming up in their career or making a spin-off of that. And another, I was just watching the Last Dance with Michael Jordan, and how he was saying that he's not going to come back if his coach Phil, I can't remember his last name, wasn't going to come back. So I think that's another area of opportunity that could have been used for other marketing. I'm not sure if someone did do that, but that could have been also a perfect opportunity for something like that to happen. So it's just partnering with big names that might have a big decision. Maybe there's some celebrity, some actor or actress, or maybe it's just someone local that is maybe trying to break into the industry, and maybe they had a big role or something like that, where you're just trying to take these, it's just partnering with bigger names that actually relate to your product or service. Because when you look at Tom Brady and Hulu, it made sense, because you're first advertising on the Super Bowl. Second, you're partnering with Tom Brady, who's football, and he's a quarterback, so it completely makes sense. They mesh together. And then third, the first thing he says when he does bring into the Hulu announcement is they now stream live sports. So majority of the people that are going to be watching the Super Bowl are sports fanatics. They like sports. This is something that they enjoy. So when he says that, I think it's just all perfectly tied together, where Tom Brady, sports, football, Hulu, sports streaming, Super Bowl, sports streaming, you have all that target audience there. So you want to make sure that it's all cohesive. You're not getting, say, someone maybe that's like a gamer and they don't work out or anything, and they weigh like $120 soaking wet, and you maybe have this exercise business or athletic wear business. You're not really going to partner with them because they never really work out, and they aren't the size that someone might want to be there, that your target audience is. So you want to make sure that the partnership makes sense, and you're partnering with someone that actually does go there and actually makes sense. So another point is using social media to drive hype and more talking points. And I think they did this perfectly well. I know social media now is starting to get to the point where you have to say that this is a paid sponsorship. So it might be a little bit different now. Whereas at the time, I don't think they had to do that. And then it just shows, hey, this is a sponsorship, where if you're scrolling on TikTok or you're scrolling on Instagram, you're going to see sponsored or paid sponsorship or whatever it is. You have to actually show that now. So it might be a little bit different now, but using social media to drive more traffic, more hype around this current talking point that you're currently doing. So using social media is also another good place to actually put some effort and time into. And then you want to come up with brilliant script writing to give people answers. So this is what they did, where they drew people in throughout the first, I think it was a 30-second ad, where the first 15 seconds was just Tom Brady, some B-roll clips, and really emotional, and trying to get people to connect and listen to him, because that's exactly what it did. It drew people in with really good script writing, where he brought his tone of voice down. He made it really connection based, where, hey, I want to talk to you specifically, my friends, my family, my teammates. And he really brought you in with that. And then once that 15 seconds was up, I'm assuming it wasn't like a time frame that they had it set, but once that was done, the setup, the lead up to the actual reveal was done, then he went into the actual thing. So it was just extremely good script writing. So you want to make sure that you do have really good script writing. And one thing that I do believe that you could look at this as in a negative light is this is rather misleading, where a lot of people might have been thinking, hey, this is going to be Tom Brady's retirement post or whatever it is. This is going to be Tom Brady's leaving New England post, whatever it is. And this could lead to a lot of trust issues because everyone thinks, oh, Tom Brady's going to be doing this. And then all of a sudden you get dropped the ball of Hulu and then Tom Brady's not actually announcing it. So there could be a little bit of a trust issue there where you're losing trust in people because you misled them to think that Tom Brady is going to be announcing his retirement, his transfership, whatever it might be. So that's one negative aspect that I do want to point out with this, where you don't necessarily want to mislead people and bring them on a certain way, because you do want to build up that like, know, and trust factor, and that's a huge part of marketing. And with this, it's a rather gray area, but it could be spun off where, oh, this is just a lighthearted little thing. So that's one thing that I do want to bring up, that this could have been spun into a negative aspect. So to sum everything up, you want to play into current events and talking points in the media. So if there's a lot of stuff going on, see if you can get someone that's famous or has a lot of say in this industry or currently in the media for this certain point. I know way back then, he still kind of is, but Andrew Tate, just getting Andrew Tate, that's a huge talking point. And I know a lot of people were doing that, and it was more so just interviews because they were trying to siphon his audience. So it's just finding different things that are going on in the media and people are talking about. So try and spin off that, take some current talking points and use that to your advantage. And if you can use big names in the industry, play off those moves they might be making, So it's just basically trying to find different talking points in the media. And another thing that I didn't really mention, maybe I did, but I'm going to say it anyways, is after the Super Bowl commercial, I believe I did say it, but after the Super Bowl commercial aired the next day, next few weeks, whatever it is, everyone was just talking about it. And it's like, oh, Tom Brady's not actually retiring. Tom Brady's not actually going to a different team. It was just actually a Hulu commercial. And then everyone was just saying Hulu commercial, Hulu commercial, Hulu commercial. And that's just additional exposure for Hulu there. So I think you could just look at this partnership that they did. It was perfect timing, perfect partnership, and perfect target audience at the right time, right place. So take all this into consideration for your marketing efforts. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in to the Marketing Lab. If you got some value out of this episode, share it with your team, your colleagues, friends, or anyone you think might benefit from this. You can also leave a review to let us know how we did. We'll take any feedback so we can create the #1 marketing podcast out here and deliver the most value to you. If you'd like to apply to be on the show and share your expertise, head on over to newframedigital.com/the-marketing-lab. And at the bottom of the page, you'll find a form to fill out. Remember, every entrepreneur needs a lab, and this is yours. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.